Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating, to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health-conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery, so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Her podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. And before I jump into today's podcast episode, I just want to say a massive thank you if you have sent me a message or a DM or an email lately about the Healthy Her podcast, because it just means the world to me, because I know how busy you are. Like, I know that you are juggling like 1,000 things every day. And if you have taken that 5 minutes out of your day to send me a message to let me know that you are loving the podcast and that it's really helping you, it honestly just means the world to me. And that's what I always want this podcast to do, is to give you a ton of value and, like practical tips that you can actually take away with you, because I definitely find that, and I found that myself in this healthy eating and weight loss space, is that a lot of the stuff is just not realistic for today's busy modern woman. No one's got time for hours of workouts and complicated meal preps and all this kind of stuff. We just need simple, doable solutions. And I always want the podcast to be about that. So massive, massive thank you if you've taken your time out of your busy day to send me a message, because I'm just so glad to have you a part of the Healthy Her community. This podcast community means the absolute world to me, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Today's podcast topic is all about why you keep losing and gaining the same amount of weight and how you're going to stop the yo-yo dieting for good. And I truly believe that this is a topic that is not talked about enough. And I want to start this podcast by sharing with you something that I discovered recently. Now, basically, online, there are platforms that you can go into and that you can search what people are searching for. Okay, so let's say we'll pick something random. So let's say that you're into like scuba diving, okay, and you love scuba diving. You can actually go into these particular platforms and you can have a look and see what are the top and most searched questions and phrases about scuba diving. So I like to always make sure that, I'm aligning with what people are searching for, and also that it's aligning with what I'm sharing on the podcast. And so the thing I want to share with you today is, when I was in these platforms the other day, I saw that there had been a significant change in the search topics, questions, and keywords that women were looking for when it comes to weight loss, healthy eating, and also exercise. And I have to tell you, it was pretty alarming. Like, I'm not going to lie, I was like, wow. And for me, if that was not a huge wake up moment of holy crap, women are in trouble if this is the stuff that we are searching for on Google. And I'm talking, this isn't just the odd phrase here or there. I'm talking millions, billions of searches on these topics, keywords, and phrases around weight loss. Now, let me clarify. So, a couple of years ago, maybe even a year ago, when you would go into these platforms, the kind of things that women were searching for was this: what is the best way to lose weight, how to eat healthy, how to be more consistent with exercise. And as I read those out, you're probably going, oh yeah, they sound pretty standard, pretty healthy, pretty normal questions. When I went into this platform and I was having a look, like I said, I was really, really shocked and alarmed. There was literally nothing in relation to consistency, into exercise, into healthy eating. Everything I saw was this: what is the best weight loss pill to lose weight? What are the side effects of weight loss medication? What is the best weight loss tablet. Like, if you're listening to this and that's not ringing alarm bells for you, like for me, I was like, whoa. And I checked multiple platforms, I checked multiple questions, I checked multiple keywords, and that was it. There was nothing else about how to put together a healthy meal, how to meal prep, it was none of that. And I just want you to take this as a bit of a wake up call that is a massive shift. That is a huge shift in what we are searching for in like Google and on the internet and on YouTube and our social media platforms and ChatGTP. That is what majority of women are searching for when they're looking things up. What's your weight loss pill? What's the best one? What are the side effects? And what is going to make this the fastest and quickest process possible? And look, I get it. Like, I get it. I've been exactly where you are. I know exactly how you feel. I know the struggles that you have had. I have felt all of them. And I truly think that that's something that makes me unique because I truly don't believe that you can really understand what it's like to struggle with food or with your weight if you haven't actually been there before. Like, because it is it's very hard to explain, but when you've experienced it, you know exactly those feelings and how overwhelming they can be and how they can just take over your entire life. And I get it. You are sick and tired of trying and failing, feeling overweight and unhappy in your skin. You're sick of it. You want change now and you just want something to shift and something to make you start to feel a lot better. But here is the honest truth. And I'm going to be really honest with you. I am yet to interact, to talk to, or to meet a woman yet that has tried weight loss drugs, even weight loss surgery, and that they know how to eat properly and take care of their bodies now. What is that telling you? What does that say to you? Even if you've lost the weight and you've, like had weight loss surgery or you've done the pills, or they still don't know how to eat. And it's still coming down to this same core problem that I always go on about. It's not you, it's just your methods. It's just that you haven't been taught how to eat. And you need to know how to eat for life. You have to know how to eat when you're busy. You have to know how to eat when you're tired. You have to know what to do when you've, like, haven't done the food shopping and you need to throw together a quick meal. Like, you need to learn how to eat. You need to learn how to eat to feel good, to energize yourself, to not feel hungry, to not have sugar cravings all the time. And so in today's podcast episode, I want to talk to you all about like exactly what yo-yo dieting is, because I know it's a term that's thrown around a lot. And I think we know what it means, but I want to be really clear and give you absolute clarity so you know what it is. And I guarantee you've done it, you're doing it, or you're stuck in a cycle of doing it over and over again. And I also want to tell you how to get out of that cycle. Okay, so we're going to talk about yo-yo dieting, why it happens, and we're also going to talk about why exactly you keep losing and gaining that same 5 or 10 kilos. It is so common. It is so common. Women come to me and they're like, Jen, I've lost some weight before. Yep. Okay. And I put it back on again. It's so common. And the reason it's really common is because whatever you've done is probably most likely a challenge or like a program that has like a fixed date on it. So it's a 6 week or an 8 week, and you do it all perfectly. And then that stops. And then you just go back to your old eating habits. And that is because you haven't been taught how to eat after that. You don't know how to do imperfect eating. You don't know how to do imperfect exercise. You don't know how to do an imperfect calorie deficit. And you have to be able to learn those things for longevity, for your results to last. Okay. But I'm going to go into that a little bit like later into the episode. All right. So, what is yo yo dieting? So, this is the actual definition. It's a pattern of losing the same weight through strict dieting only to regain it afterwards. Okay. So, it's having some weight loss success, but returning to your old habits. Okay. And it just leads to increased hunger. And so, like I said, it's either that you've done a challenge that's got a set timeline, or that whatever you were doing to get the result was just too restrictive and not maintainable. So, like, if you are going to sign up for something, take a second before you press that buy button. Go, you know what? Is this actually something I can do for the long term? Or is this just something I'm going to lose the weight and end up regaining it afterwards? And I know you can say, oh, I don't care. I just want the result now. But it's going to come back and bite you in the ass later on, because you're going to go, I'm just right back to where I started in the first place. And so that's how often It's better to ditch the timeline, let it take a bit longer, and have it last forever this time rather than it always being about that quick fix. So, why does yo yo dieting happen to us women? Here is the truth, it's because what you're doing isn't sustainable. All right. It's not sustainable and it's leading to hunger. So, it might be a juice cleanse, it might be a really restrictive diet. So, you might be eating like 12 or 1300 calories a day. It might be a restrictive diet in the sense of you love sugar and you have a massive sweet tooth and you're on the no sugar diet. It may also be like the no fat diet. So you love avocado and nuts and all these things and you're on the no fat diet. It might be the intermittent fasting diet where you can only eat in certain windows of time and you're finding that really restrictive. So that's why it happens because it's so restrictive and then it just leads to that hunger afterwards. And this is exactly why you regain the weight afterwards and you can't do it long term because you're eating in a restricted way. So low calories, shakes only, no carb, that's another one, no carb diet, zero sugars. And what you are doing is too restrictive. Can you maintain it for the long term? No, you can't. So you restrict, you eat less, and you crave some chocolate. And because you're trying to be good, and not eat the chocolate because you're on the no sugar diet, you feel guilty, you feel bad, and then you overeat or binge on chocolate. Tell yourself you failed, then you feel guilty and you end up putting the weight back on because you're like, oh, well, YOLO, it doesn't matter. I've stuffed up now. I had some chocolate. I'm not supposed to eat chocolate. I'm on the no carb, no sugar diet. And being stuck in this cycle actually takes a toll on you long term. It really, really does. And I know even me saying that, you're probably thinking, yeah, it really does. It's exhausting. It is mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausting to do that. That be stuck in that yo-yo dieting cycle over and over again because you sign up for the diet, not eating chocolate, not eating bread, whatever it is, you're seriously craving some bread and you just want to have a sandwich. You have a sandwich, you feel really guilty about it, you feel so bad. You tell yourself you failed, you're never going to look good, you're never going to succeed at this. Then you eat 5 pieces of bread, feel really guilty, and just decide that what's the point now? And you just give up. And a really good analogy that one of our healthy eating hype gal members shared with us, I had her and she came in. She did a live with me on one of our monthly coaching calls. So I do 2 live coaching calls where the girls can ask me any questions. They can get that clarity that they need. It's live. They can join me or they can pop questions in and I will answer them live for them. And she was explaining to the hype gals because she's lost like almost 18 kilos now. And like she explained it like the wheels on a car. So she said, when you have a flat tire, you don't then go and puncture the other 3 tires. And that's exactly what we do as women. We go, oh, well, I shouldn't have eaten the chocolate and I eat the chocolate. So I'll just puncture all the other tires as well. It's not a normal way to respond to things. You don't respond that way to anything else in your life. If one bad thing happens in your life, you don't then go and multiply it by 3 or 4 to make the situation worse for yourself. But when it comes to food, it's just something that we do. And I don't know why we do that. And she explained it so well. And she said that, like, she shared that with our hype gal community as something that the other girls could do when they're in that situation where they ate the chocolate or they had the bread or they ate pasta or whatever it was. You just move on. You go, well, that wasn't the best choice. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but you just start again and move on. And that's what I teach inside the membership is just teaching the girls just to pick up and move on because it's that cycle that keeps us forever trapped. And like I said, forever slashing those other tires instead of it just being one tire and then moving on the next day. So, how do we stop this cycle of yo yo dieting so you can stop regaining the weight? Because that's what's happening. You're going on a diet, you're being too restrictive, you're feeling hungry, you're giving into the cravings or whatever you feel like, you're eating all of that food, and then you're putting all the weight back on because you just quit and decide to start again later when you feel like it, or when you feel better, or when life isn't as hectic, or when things have slowed down. So, how can we stop this cycle? First of all, awareness is key. So, now that I've explained to you what yo yo dieting is, how it's impacting you, its effect on you. And like I said, it's exhausting. And I know it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Like it's draining. It is so mentally, emotionally, and physically draining on your body. It is. And I think as well too, I can only sit back now and say that because I'm on the other side of it. I think when you're in that space, you tend to kind of go, oh, well, this is just normal. Like I'm just supposed to feel overwhelmed about food and I'm just supposed to feel hungry. And it's because it's a feeling that your brain and your body remember. So it almost, even though it feels bad, it almost feels familiar to you. And so we kind of just get used to it. It's like, well, I know what that failure feels like. I know what feeling guilty when I've eaten something that's not healthy feels like. And like I said, it's just a feeling that we get used to. And I just want to remind you that you don't have to feel like that. There is another side to this, but it just requires you to look at things differently and to start doing things differently because these restrictive diets, these cutting out food groups, all of these things haven't worked for you so far and they're going to continue to not work for you. So if you go, nah, I'm just still going to do the quickest thing possible, or I call it, I talk about it on the podcast about the shiny object syndrome when it comes to diets. You see the next diet and there's always stuff. It's There's always something. There is always some new thing, some new diet. At the moment it's the menopause diet, that you can just lose weight in menopause by following this specific diet. None of it's true. You don't need anything specific for menopause. Also true, if that's a particular area that you're interested in, I have posted a full podcast episode all about perimenopause and weight loss and also about our Hype Gal member success story. So you can definitely scroll back and check out that episode. But yeah, it's just not a nice place to be in. And I just want to remind you, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to feel stuck. And there is freedom and relief and it's like this massive exhale. That's the best way I can describe it. I think we sort of just, when it comes to dieting, we just walk around so tense and so tight all the time. And then when you work out how to do this for the long term, it's like this massive exhale that your brain and body just goes, okay, I can relax a bit now. I know how to do this. I can stop yo-yo dieting and I can stop stressing. So how are we going to stop this cycle for you? I've got some of my top tips that I'm going to share with you. And remember, if you're listening to this going, hey, what does this girl know? I know. I've lost 10 kilos, kept it off, busy working mum with multiple businesses. I know how to do this. I know how it feels. I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly the struggles that you have faced. And like I said, I think that's something that makes me unique because I will often get women that will come to me and join the membership and say, oh, I've worked with this person and they've told me this. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not going to work for you, is it? That's not realistic for you, or another big one is they'll go to their GP. And again, nothing against GPs. I'm fully supportive of healthcare workers and doctors and all that stuff. But when it's a common thing, they'll come to me and they say, oh, the GP said that I should only eat 1,200 calories and I should cut out. I've had yogurt. I've had someone come to me and say, I shouldn't eat yogurt from the GP. I shouldn't eat yogurt, no bread, no pasta, no sugar. Who can live like that? Like that's not a realistic way for the average person to live. And that's why we get so stuck. All right, let's jump into these tips. Number one, any plan you're thinking of starting. So there's that shiny object syndrome. So anytime you see a diet around and you're like, ooh, she's lost weight on that. Ooh, she's lost weight really fast on that. Ooh, let's have a look at that. So any plan that you're thinking of starting, ask yourself, can I maintain this for the long term? If it's a hard fat no, don't start it in the first place. Because if you look at that and go, I don't want to eat shakes and drinks for my lunches for every single day, then don't do it. If you love pasta and carbs and you're trying to find this no carb diet, don't do it. Like if your instincts, and this is the thing, we shut off those instincts as women. Okay. You know yourself, you know your body yourself, you know what you like, what you don't like, the way you like to eat, the foods that you enjoy. Listen to it. If that's not going to work for you, don't sign up for it in the first place because like I said, you're literally setting yourself up for failure if you join something and you know that it's not something that you can do for the long term. Are you ready to step into a vibrant community of health-conscious women where your journey to healthy feel easy begins? Welcome to the Healthy Eating Hype Gal community, your ultimate destination for mastering your relationship with food and embracing a healthy lifestyle. As a busy working mum who's lost 10 kilos, I've been through it all and I understand the struggle. That's why I'm here to teach you the exact steps and tools I use to lose weight, conquer my mindset and thrive, all while juggling the demands of everyday life. Say goodbye to no more confusing fad diets or overwhelming nutrition advice. In this community, I'll guide you through the maze of weight loss and healthy eating and explain it to you in a way that finally makes sense. From easy, family-friendly meal plans to my exclusive calorie deficit quick guide, monthly masterclasses, plus so much more, so you can finally make healthy eating an achievable lifestyle without restriction. It's time to ditch the confusion and overwhelm for good. Join today and kickstart your journey to a healthier, happier you. There's no perfect time to start. Let's make your wellness dreams a reality. All right, number 2, focus on sustainable daily habits. Things like drinking more water, walking 8 to 10K steps each day. Why? Because these are maintainable. It is not maintainable to eat no carbs for the rest of your life. It is not maintainable for you to eat a 1,200 calorie diet for the rest of your life. It is not maintainable for you to eat the no sugar diet and never have anything sweet for the rest of your life. Healthy daily habits are sustainable. So you can maintain 8K steps, right? You can maintain drinking water. You can maintain going to the gym 3 times a week. You can maintain eating a high protein breakfast. You can maintain having protein at your 3 main meals. These are all things that are actually maintainable for the long term. So definitely focus on those daily sustainable habits. Okay, tip number 3. I want you to shift your focus. I want you to shift your focus from the quick fix, the shiny object syndrome. So we want to go from quick fixes, shiny object syndrome to longevity. What is going to last for the long term? And it is a shift. Like I said, I told you, I shared with you openly what these platforms, this is not made up stuff. This is majority of the female population, not just in Australia, literally around the world are Googling this stuff. Googling the best weight loss drug, the weight loss side effects. How can I lose weight fast on drugs? That's what they all are. There's nothing else. That is all of what is being searching for. So, this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem, and it does not bode well for us women in the future if that's what we are focusing on. Because again, like I said, I'm hand on heart yet to meet a woman that has used weight loss drugs or weight loss surgery and knows how to eat. They will quite often just eat very little and it's often rubbish. And so they actually just don't know how to eat for life. So it is a big concern. So really start, I know, I get it. Like I get it. The temptation is massive. The temptation is massive for you to go, oh, but it's the quickest way and it's going to happen. And we've even had women inside the membership that have said, that they're tempted. We have really honest conversations in there and they've said, I'm tempted. I'm in here, I'm learning about my food. I'm, like having the coaching calls. I'm listening to the master classes. I'm like enjoying the recipes and all the things. But they said, there's still that temptation because it's like we have this belief that if I go down the quick fix and I do the weight loss drugs, that it doesn't come with any effort. And that's so not true at all. So don't always think that weight loss drugs is this easy way, it's this quickest way. It's because even though it might seem like that initially, for the long term, it's going to be worse for you because, like I said, it's not going to teach you how to eat. Number 4, this is a big one. Avoid, please avoid, please, 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 please avoid meal skipping. Don't skip meals. In my experience and with all the women that I've worked with, the best thing that you do is to eat regularly throughout the day. And that's why you get breakfast, snacks, lunch, afternoon snacks, desserts, because when you eat regularly, you feel full. Your blood sugar levels stay stable. You don't crave sugar. Like, don't think that skipping meals is this whoa solution because if I skip meals, I eat less calories and then I lose weight. Weight loss doesn't work that way. And I'm going to keep telling you that. Weight loss doesn't work that way. Our bodies actually like food, believe it or not. Our bodies actually enjoy food and nutrients and protein and micronutrients and fiber, and our bodies like all that stuff. So when we treat it well and we look after it and we feed it well, we actually get the results that we want. So please don't skip meals because it will just leave you hungry. And when you are hungry, it is very, very difficult to make a good food choice. I know what I'm like. When I'm starving, I'm like a ravenous beast, and I will literally eat everything in the fridge and pantry. So please don't skip meals. Number 5, do it for your health not just for weight loss. And I know, I get it. I understand it because I've been there. I know that you just want to look good. You just want to feel good. You're sick of the yo-yo dieting cycle. You're sick of feeling crappy. You're sick of not being able to wear what you want. And so you just want to lose the weight. But shift your focus. Do it for your health as well, because there is so many knock-on effects and so many positive side effects when you start looking after yourself and eating better. You feel better, you look better, you attract better, you sleep better, you have more energy, you have more patience, you feel calmer, your stress levels are reduced. Like there is so many bonuses that come with weight loss aside just from the losing the weight. So really don't forget to make sure that there's a focus in there on your health. And I know it's not sexy and you're like, well, I don't really care about that. I just want to look good. I get that. But think about all of those amazing, awesome side effects, positive side effects that you're going to get when you do actually lose the weight. So don't forget to focus on your health as well too, and the health benefits that you're going to gain from losing the weight. Being able to walk more, play with your kids more, being stronger at the gym. Like this just I could go on and on and on. There's just so many. And my last tip for today, and this is number 6. And these are all tips that can help you to ditch that yo-yo dieting cycle and to stop losing, regaining, because it's just such an awful place to be in. Number 6, aim for gradual weight loss that you can maintain. Quick losses don't last. It's the truth. We've all had that win, haven't we? We've had that weight loss win where we did the plan, we did the program, we followed someone's day of eating on Instagram or on TikTok, and you might have lost a couple of kilos. But then after that, then what? This is the question that you have to keep asking yourself. Then what? If you have gradual, slow, and steady weight loss, that is what you will be able to maintain. If you drop 5 kilos in, like 5 minutes, the chances of you regaining that weight are incredibly high, because you've got no idea what you're doing. You don't know how you got there. You don't know how to replicate those results afterwards. And that's why so many of us just get stuck in this dieting cycle and that quick fix, shiny object syndrome. I know, I really hope that, my sincere and true hope is that this podcast episode has really made you think, because I could guarantee that you have probably considered weight loss drugs at some point, or you've gone, even if it's 5 kilos, you're like, maybe I could just try that. And, like the 5 kilos will just come off and I'll just give that a go. I know the temptation is there, but please remember this, and please remember this episode. That's what people are Googling. That's what women around the world are searching for, this quick fix. And quick fixes have not worked in the past and they're not going to work now. All right. Like I said, even if you get some results from the weight loss drugs or the surgery or whatever you're doing, you still need to learn how to eat. You need to learn how to eat as a woman, to look good, to feel good, to maintain your weight, to have energy, to sleep well, to not feel hungry, all of those things. And the truth is weight loss is a slow process and no one tells you that. Hand on heart, I truly wish that when I'd started my journey that someone sat me down and said, you know what, Jen, this is actually going to take way longer than what you think. And I would have gone, okay, cool. I remember that now. But I didn't, because I was constantly like on the scales, checking the mirror, thinking, why is this not happening quick enough? Why can't I see results? Why have I not, lost 5 kilos? And it's all just because of what I'd been sold in the media to think that this happens fast. I'm telling you, I won't BS you. I will tell you the truth. Weight loss is a slow process. It does not happen overnight and it is not quick. If you are seeing someone that is doing super rapid, quick weight loss, they're doing something that's not healthy. They're doing something that's not so sustainable and not healthy for the long term. So switch your focus on health and sustainability instead of those quick fixes. And, then you can break this yo-yo dieting cycle for good. But like I said, you have to start thinking differently. You have to start looking at things in a different way. You have to start trying different things, because what you're doing and what you have done hasn't worked for a reason. And if you continue to do it and hope that it's going to work for you, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because if it hasn't worked before, it's still not going to work in the future. So, like I said, I hope today's podcast has given you lots of things to think about. Also, too, you can still register for my free masterclass. In the free masterclass, I will talk to you exactly about why you're not losing weight and exactly what to do instead. It's like my non-diet approach. And in the masterclass, you will have all of these aha moments where you will go, oh, all right, I get this now. I understand what I need to do next. So if you haven't registered for my free masterclass, go ahead and do that. I'll pop it down below. The link to the free masterclass is also in my bio on my Instagram and my TikTok. So you can just click on that and register. It's completely free. If you can't make the live, you can watch the replay after. So if you haven't, I definitely recommend going and registering for that free masterclass. I absolutely loved chatting with you about today's podcast topic. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all in our next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram @TheActiveBod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.